एंड अभी 2-3 लोग हो रहा है। पराग है, पराग दिख नहीं रहा। पराग ने वो फेस छुपाया हुआ है। पराग क्या हो गया?
नहीं नहीं सर। हेलो सर।
हेलो सर। हाँ हाँ यार दिख रहा है अब। हाँ, बता दो। तो सभी हो गए। गणेश तो बिजी रहता है एज यूजुअल। गणेश तो चलो आई थिंक सलब स्टार्ट करते हैं। क्या पराग इज है?
ठीक है सर। सर आप भी अपना वीडियो ऑन कर लीजिए सर, आपका वीडियो विजिबल नहीं
अच्छा
है।
मेरा ऑफ है, ओके चल। नाउ इट इज ओके राइट?
यस।
So, good evening, everyone. At the outset, I would like to thank this company, Isai Company, which has given this opportunity to discuss about triple negative breast cancer. And we will come to that. Their product is Halavan, that is Aerobilin, which is a antimicrobial chemotherapeutic drug, which is used in triple negative breast cancer special subset of these patients. So, without wasting time, let us start. Regarding triple negative breast cancer, I would say around 10-15 years back, this was taken as an orphan disease. Orphan disease means there was no target available to hit. And nowadays, we as a medical oncologist all know in most of the malignancies, we are fond of finding some target and hitting that. Why? Because if we go that way with a personalized treatment, the effect is tremendous. In fact, sometimes we see double or triple or 4 times as compared to chemotherapeutic drugs. So, in last 10 years, so research has been going on for TNBC also, and we have come across some targetable drugs also, which come to this talk, and with which we can hit and can use instead of chemotherapy upfront. Apart from that, one newer chemotherapy that is Eribulin. We'll discuss about that. So let us start with the brief introduction. So there, what is TNBC? TNBC means we all know there is an absence of estrogen receptor, progesterone receptor, and HER2 expression. So there is a definition as by NCCN and some other authorities. What do you mean by absence of ER and PR? Means ER if it is less than 1%, less than 1% is taken as negative. So triple negative. This is by definition by NCCN, which is the standard as of now. It is a heterogeneous breast cancer subtype. Why I am saying heterogeneous? Because when we treat the triple negative breast cancer, we see some patients are doing very good, means 3 year, 4 year, 5 year survival, and some are really bad. Bad in the sense some are succumb to their disease even within a year or so. So it is very heterogeneous subgroup type of TNBC among itself, with a poor prognosis overall. And there are fewer systemic treatment options besides chemotherapy. New actionable targets are there: androgen receptor, EGFR, PARP, FGFR, angiogenic pathway. No proven targeted therapy currently available. Sorry, this is the older slide of 2016. So nowadays, we can say 4 year down the line, we have some targetable drug, 2-3 drugs which have shown really good result. And if see the incidence wise, triple negative breast cancer, they represents around 15% of all breast cancer. Like most common, we know hormone receptor positive, either estrogen receptor or progesterone receptor. Roughly around 60 to 70% cases are of that type. HER2 15 to 20%, triple negative 15%. So they are characterized by shorter overall survival, and the clear thing is that there is early peak of distant recurrence, distant metastasis at 3 years from the diagnosis. Majority of deaths in first 5 years after initial diagnosis. So these are characteristic of triple negative breast cancer type. In Indian perspective, what we are finding that percentage of triple negative breast cancer is relatively slightly higher, like roughly around more than 20 in fact. And among those patients, frequency of BRCA1 and BRCA2 is also higher among Indian patients. That is 2.9 to 24% among Indian familial. And 45% of patients are diagnosed in the advanced stage. If we see about the age distribution, about the TNBC, uh, There is a peak in 45 to 49 age group in hormone receptor. Upper graph is showing, the bar chart is showing hormone receptor. Lower is for the triple negative. So they represent significant number, like more number. If we talk about upper graph, hormone receptors are lesser in earlier age group, but if we talk about 30 age group, 30 to 40, they are higher. This bar chart is higher in number in the TNBC, and drastic drop after 54. So this means elderly age group, we are finding more of a hormone receptor positive, lesser chance of triple negative, and in very early age group like 30s, we are finding more of a triple negative breast cancer. If we talk about total proportion in the Indian study, around 50% are hormone receptor positive, one third are triple negative. As I said, triple negative are more. So roughly around, this is showing 33%. If as compared to world Western literature, they are showing 15 to 20%, but our population are 33% are triple negative, and HER2 is same, 15 to 20%. So there was a genomic atlas study about the mutation in this particular subset. So they have seen there are two proportion which are higher, TP53, which is a tumor suppressor gene, which is found in 80%, more than 80% of population in TNBC. Another most common mutation is PIK3CA. We know there is a drug for PIK3CA also nowadays. So these are two most common mutations, somatic mutation found in breast cancer patients. Now, is there any association between age? Age we have discussed, more frequent in the younger age group, around about 30 to 40. Ethnic, more in black race or Hispanic. 20% are suffering from this. 20% are having BRCA1 or BRCA2. So ER cutoff we have discussed earlier. There is no confusion. Less than 1% is taken as triple negative breast cancer. Heterogeneity, because there are so many pathways involved in the triple negative breast cancer. To understand that, we must know, for the PG student, we must mention first molecular classification of TNBC was given by Lehmann et al. In 2011. Later on, it was modified by Burstein et al. In 2015. So first classification was divided into 6 types: basal like 1, basal like 2, immunomodulatory, mesenchymal stem like luminal androgen receptors. Then Burstein defined into separated into 4, just to simplify this understanding. And then there was a comparison group by PAM50 molecular subtype, Lehmann et al. And Burstein. So they have divided as compared to into multiple subtype: LAR, luminal androgen receptor, mesenchymal stromal, basal like inflammatory AA. So as of now, latest this is again Lehmann. They have divided into 6, but latest is by Burstein et al. This was 2015. So they have divided into 4: basal like immune suppressed, basal like immune activated, mesenchymal or luminal androgen receptor, LAR type. Means the word meaning itself is some population have hormone receptor positive, and androgen receptors are also involved in this pathway. Therefore, their recent articles are coming with the use of bicalutamide in subset of triple negative breast cancer. So in this particular subset, so latest is this, we need to remember 4 subtype of molecular classification of TNBC. Now, what are the targetable pathways in triple negative breast cancer? So we know there are multiple pathways in cell cycle progression. One pathway is obviously breast cancer, BRCA1 and BRCA2, where there is a deficient repair pathway. So DNA repair is not there properly. So this is one pathway. Another is PI3K mTOR pathway. So all these things are involved in this pathway, and we may have mutation altering these particular subsets, particular molecule. So RAF kinase pathway is also involved, and there are some Aurora kinase or FGFR pathways are also involved. So as of now, we know drugs affecting this pathway is there, BRCA1 and BRCA2. Big 3, AKT3 is under trial, and FGFR drugs are also under trial for this particular subset. So now we come to the one subtype, that is basal-like 1, basal-like 2 subtype of triple negative. This is important because this is clinical therapeutics, because cisplatin, one particular drug, is effective in this particular subset because of mechanism of action DNA damaging chemotherapy, and there is a repair is deficient in this particular subset. And PARP inhibitor was also has a role in this particular subtypes. So platinum-based chemotherapy in metastatic breast cancer. There is some recent clinical evidence has information contrary to conventional wisdom about use of platinum-based doublet in triple negative breast cancer. So as of now, in last 4-5 years, there were trials which were saying chemotherapeutic. If we talk about chemotherapy, platinum drugs are more effective in patients who have BRCA1 and BRCA2 mutation, either ovary or breast. But in the breast, what they have come across in final outcome of those trials, that there is no difference in overall survival. But still there is a catch. There is some subgroups, we will come to that, which are found to be more helpful, more effective with cisplatin. So at the outset, we cannot say to conclude that platinum are not more effective in this subgroup. So 24 studies, Cochrane Library, they have taken the 5 studies in metastatic TNBCs. And difference was of borderline significance, not much difference in these as per this conclusion. We see the neoadjuvant chemotherapy in triple negative, they also doesn't improve the overall survival, but more important than OS in this scenario are PathCR. Pathological CR is associated with improved prognosis, that is taken as a surrogate marker. Triple negative breast cancer displays highest rate of PathCR after neoadjuvant chemotherapy. 30 to 50% of triple negative achieve pathological CR following standard chemotherapeutic regime 4AC4T. So these are the neoadjuvant trial, which was the landmark trial we must remember. One is GPAR-62 and another is CALGB 4063. So these are two schema of drug in which GPAR-62 they have taken as paclitaxel, carboplatin, and non-pegylated liposomal doxorubicin also is there, and bevacizumab, PMCB. So basically they have included the platinum, carboplatin in the neoadjuvant setting, and in the placebo arm there was no carboplatin, only paclitaxel and other drug. So they have shown with the platinum higher 53% PathCR, response rate as compared to placebo. And in CALGB, they have taken paclitaxel carboplatin afterwards as standard dose as ACs 4 cycle. So here also higher response rate with the platinum. But if we see these studies, they said somewhat underpowered studies, and in final conclusion they have shown OS was not improved with the platinum drugs, but platinum based combination chemo should be selectively applied in patients carrying BRCA or high risk of relapse with extensive tumor burden in younger age who necessitate enriched loco-regional control. So if patient come to us who have high tumor load, younger age, no comorbidity, and needs breast conserving surgery, so there in some select subgroup we can add carboplatin upfront. Even newer trial of immuno-oncological drugs, they have started using paclitaxel carboplatin as a neoadjuvant. In Keynote 119, they have taken as a paclitaxel carboplatin as a standard. So means most of the researchers have believed it has to be a standard drug, pacli-carbo, in the triple negative breast cancer. So there were trial, one more trial, I-SPY 2, ADAPT. So I-SPY 2 conclusion is also out in this year only, and they have also said OS is not beneficial. So we have to select out the patient in which we can give the platinum drug. Now we come to the PARP inhibitors. So the first drug was olaparib, which was approved in 2014 as a single drug for germline BRCA mutated advanced ovarian cancer. After that, So this was approved first for ovarian cancer. After that, this drug has been tried for breast cancer also. Olaparib in standard dose 300 milligram twice a day. First trial was Olympiad. Olympiad trial was in breast cancer. They were carrying the germline BRCA mutation, HER2 negative, metastatic breast cancer, and prior anthracycline taxane were allowed. Less than 2 prior chemotherapy lines were taken into account. Olaparib as compared to chemotherapy of choice. Chemotherapy of choice means treatment of physician choice. Some might use eribulin, some capecitabine or vinorelbine. So these three drugs was used in metastatic setting after failure of this taxane and anthracycline. So primary endpoint was progression-free survival, secondary was OS. So they have shown it beneficial with a good hazard ratio 0.80, and if you see this graph, they have shown in hormone receptor positive that was not very effective. Olaparib was more effective in triple negative breast cancer. Another trial was Embrca. That was another drug, that is Talazoparib, oral PARP inhibitor, again similar class drug, 1 milligram daily. This also has shown a good outcome in terms of progression-free survival. That is roughly around 5.6 months in the placebo arm, 8.6, sorry, not placebo, chemotherapeutic arms, 8.6 month in the Talazoparib arm. So with good hazard ratio. So this was also approved, and this is the largest randomized trial evaluating a PARP inhibitor in advanced breast cancer with germline BRCA1 and BRCA2. So now screening guidelines are also there for TNBC, means in which subset of patient we need to get the BRCA1 and BRCA2. There is a question. So what they say, bottom line is that any patient who is triple negative breast cancer diagnosed at age of 60 or less than 60, we should get the BRCA1 and BRCA2 at the baseline. Now, LAR, as I said earlier, luminal androgen receptor. So, roughly 10 to 15% of triple negative breast cancer express androgen receptor. And based on that, there are some trials. They have tried bicalutamide, abiraterone. There are some preliminary evidence which are showing benefit with the androgen receptor drugs. Now we come to the immunotherapy, which is a newer era immune checkpoint inhibitors in triple negative breast cancer. We know antibodies that block CTLA4, PD1 or PDL1 are available, and why these are fascinating, because we have seen they have single agent activity also, not necessarily to combine with the chemo. So we have seen pembrolizumab, atezolizumab. Recent data is coming up in lot of solid tumors which are showing single agent activity, very good survival in many solid tumors. So here, let us see what is the role of these drugs. Now, apart from this PDL1, there is one more biomarker, that is TIL levels. That is tumor infiltrating lymphocytes in breast cancer. Means there is a important role of microenvironment also, because APC means antigen presenting cell also present the PDL1, and there are some other inflammatory cells. So therefore, TIL are said to be higher in TNBC and HER2 positive, and data is emerging about these TL cells. They are prognostic as well as predictive marker also, associated with improved DFS or overall survival and PHCR in neoadjuvant setting, where there are high level of TILs. So first, atezolizumab, IM Passion 130. Recent data has come about the IM Passion. So they have seen in metastatic disease, locally advanced triple negative breast cancer, PDL1 is high, more than 1, equal to more than or equal to 1. So they have taken I think Mentana platform, 142. Cutoff is more than equal to 1. So they have combined with a nab-paclitaxel drug in the single drug chemotherapy along with the atezolizumab. So they have come to the conclusion, the patients who have PDL1 positive, very good difference, very 7.5 months in positive arm and good hazard ratio 0.62. Even OS outcome is also very good, 25 months as compared to 15 months where PDL1 is negative. and they have shown outcome all across, like IC1, IC21 means different percentage of PDL1. So this trial demonstrated atezolizumab added to nab-paclitaxel improved PFS in all subgroups. OS is also better. So therefore, this was approved based on that. Pembrolizumab, we know there were earlier trials, phase 1 or phase 2. We come to the phase 3 trial, that is Keynote 119, where they have taken as a single drugs, and another arm was the treatment of physician choice. Sorry, the data is out, slides although is not there. They have shown this has to be beneficial. And a newer drug, that is sacituzumab govitecan. So this is the recent drug which is approved few months back, around I think 2 months back, in this triple negative breast cancer, based on aspect trial, in which they have compared. This is basically anti-TROP2 bind to inotican, I would say inotican. What do you call SN38 metabolite, sorry, inotican metabolite SN38. So this, they combine with this conjugate antibody drug conjugate like Kadcyla. They have combined TDM1 with some chemo drugs. So here is this is a chemo drug, and sacituzumab has been approved based on this Ascent trial. So this was a phase 3 trial, Ascent, in the dose 10 milligram per kilogram day 1 and day 8 every 21 days, and compared with the chemotherapy. So they have shown very good result, based on which they have got approval. There are different chemotherapy, immunotherapy drugs which are approved for this subset. Now we come to the chemotherapeutic drugs. What are the choices in first line, second line? We know we have so many chemotherapy drugs in our armamentarium: taxane, platinum, anthracycline, capecitabine, vinorelbine. So which one to use first? And now newer drug is like what we call, that is, I said now, eribulin. Eribulin is the anti-microtubule and chemotherapeutic drugs with the brand name Helaven by the Eisai company. So they have earlier used in third line, then second line, first line. So most important use in the second line setting, where they have compared this eribulin as compared to capecitabine and other drugs. Even in the NCCN, they have come up with the eribulin is the very effective choice in the second line. This is the very effective one as compared to capecitabine, PLD, vinorelbine or gemcitabine. So all these are options in second line. We have been using these drugs, but eribulin is a preferable one in the second line setting. So it has got different and multiple mechanisms of action, apart from which I said anti-microtubule agent. They have vascular remodeling action also, decrease in hypoxia, so more drug delivery to the targets, and EMT, epithelial mesenchymal transition. So these drugs acts on that also. What happens whenever there is a shift from EMT and distant metastatics are reduced? So this is one important aspect. And third is immune microenvironment. So they reduces the PD1, PDL1 expression, and local infiltration of CD8 is higher. So these is the microenvironment changes. So these four mechanisms of action are there for eribulin. And landmark trial which approved this drug is study 301, which was phase 3 study, and in which they have compared eribulin mesylate compared with capecitabine previously treated patient with locally advanced or MBCs, and median OS was 14.4 months for eribulin, huge difference as compared to 9.4 months for capecitabine. And if you see this curve, Kaplan-Meier, so they have shown advantage in all, but more important in HER2 negative, hormone receptor negative, and triple negative. So these are the subset where this drug has been found to be more beneficial. Then there was a clinical trial which they have real world data, clinical benefit of treatment with this for triple negative in US community. And in this trial also they have shown whether they have used in first line, second line, third line in TNBC, response rate is higher if we use earlier, and obviously outcome is also higher. First line, second line, they have shown 70% response rate and median overall survival even up to 23 months. So up to 2 years, huge difference as compared to if you use in the third or fourth line. So this is advisable to use in the earlier setting. Most standard setting is second line setting. So there are so many newer pathways which are coming up and still in trials. As I said, PARP inhibitor we have discussed, Olympiad and AMBRECA trial, bicalutamide for LAR type of this, mTOR inhibitor for this subset, FCR inhibitor is also being tried. So to conclude my slide, TNBC is not one disease. It is important to understand which type of TNBC will respond to which particular type of therapy. And immunotherapeutic drugs, atezolizumab, pembrolizumab has shown promising result and has been approved till date. Chemotherapy, eribulin as a single agent has shown robust efficacy. Tumors are genetically unstable and constantly undergoing changes. Newer drugs are coming up for these subsets. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite any questions from the DNB student, residents, audience. Most welcome. So, I'm audible now? Chalo?
Yes.
Sachin?
Yes, sir.
So there is one sometimes clinical scenario like patient has come to us with good metastatic TNBC, good PDL1 expression, and upfront we get BRCA1 or BRCA2. So that is also mutant. So sometimes the confusion arises whether to use single agent or doublet immune checkpoint inhibitor, or because they have also shown 2 to 3 year overall survival with a single agent only, and these olaparib and talazoparib also have shown good outcome. So that is a controversial scenario. We can use either of these two, either BRCA1, BRCA2 mutant like targeted drug, PARP inhibitors, or we can use immune checkpoint inhibitors. So that is a borderline situation. Where we have wild type BRCA1, so obviously immune checkpoint inhibitor is the nowadays better as compared to only chemo. And if we talk about among chemo, so second line definitely eribulin is one choice. So here I stop. I talk.
So, thank you very much, sir. I guess there are no questions. I'd request audience if there are any questions.
कोई मैसेज में नहीं है, so chat box में there is nothing.